Baking Up Success, How Women Are Rising to New Heights in Business. Welcome to the BlackCEO Podcast, where we're not just talking about success, we're cooking up a revolution. Today, we're diving into a conversation that's going to challenge your perspective, ignite your passion, and quite possibly make you hungry for more than just knowledge. I recently had the incredible opportunity to interview Rochelle Newton, a visionary entrepreneur who's redefining what it means to be a woman in business. Rochelle isn't just the CEO of Grace's Tears, a thriving bakery empire. She's a beacon of hope and inspiration for women everywhere who dare to dream big. Her insights aren't just food for thought. They're a full-course meal of wisdom, served with the side of audacity and a generous helping of yes, you can. Now, before we dive in, I want you to take a moment. Close your eyes if you're not driving or operating heavy machinery, and picture this. What would your life look like if you stopped listening to that nagging voice in your head telling you you're not good enough? What if, instead of shrinking from challenges, you embrace them like a bear hug at a family reunion? These are the questions that Rochelle Newton's journey compels us to ask ourselves. And let me tell you, the answers are more delicious than a perfectly baked chocolate souffle. Let's start with the thought that's more provocative than a jalapeno in a cupcake. What if fear is nothing more than a paper tiger, a flimsy barrier between you and your true potential? Rochelle's story is a testament to the power of pushing past that fear, of recognizing that the very things that terrify us are often the gateways to our greatest achievements. It's like that moment when you're about to take a big bite of something new and exotic. Your heart races, your palms sweat, but when you finally taste it, it's a revelation. As women, we've been conditioned for generations to believe that we're somehow less capable, less worthy of success than our male counterparts. But Rochelle Newton's message turns that notion on its head faster than a professional pizza tosser. She argues, and I wholeheartedly agree, that women are not just equal to the task of leadership and entrepreneurship. We're uniquely suited to it. Think about it. Who better to navigate the complex, ever-changing world of business than those who have been honing their skills in multitasking, empathy, and resilience since time immemorial? Women aren't just participants in the business world. We're its secret ingredient, the umami that makes everything more savory and satisfying. But here's the kicker. And this is where Rochelle's insight really hits home like a perfectly timed punchline. The biggest obstacle standing in our way isn't external. It's not societal prejudice or lack of opportunity, though those certainly play a part. No, the most formidable barrier is often our own self-doubt, that nagging voice that whispers, you can't do this, you're not ready, you're not good enough. It's like having a personal rain cloud following you around, ready to rain on your parade at a moment's notice. Rochelle's journey is a masterclass in silencing that voice. She didn't just push through her fears, she used them as fuel, like turning spoiled lemons into the world's zestiest lemonade. Every doubt, every setback, every moment of hesitation became a stepping stone on her path to success. And let me tell you, that path led her to some pretty incredible places. Places that smell like freshly baked success and taste like sweet, sweet victory. As the CEO of Grace's Tears, Rochelle has taken what many might consider a traditional women's role and turned it into a powerhouse of entrepreneurship. She's not just baking cakes, she's building an empire, one delicious tear at a time, and in doing so, she's challenging our perceptions of what a successful business looks like and who can run it. It's like she's taken the recipe for success, added her own secret ingredients, and created something entirely new and irresistible. But let's be real for a moment. This journey isn't easy. It's not all sugar and spice. Pun absolutely intended, and I'm not even sorry. Rochelle will be the first to tell you that building a business, especially as a woman, comes with its fair share of challenges. There are days when that inner saboteur seems to be shouting at full volume, when every obstacle feels as insurmountable as a souffle that won't rise. It's on those days that Rochelle's message resonates the most. Fear is a useless emotion. It's a liar, a thief that tries to steal your dreams before you've even had a chance to chase them. But here's the thing about fear, it's also an indicator. When you feel that flutter of fear in your stomach, that tightness in your chest, it's not a stop sign. It's a flashing neon arrow pointing directly at what you need to do next, like a cosmic GPS guiding you towards your destiny. Rochelle's approach to fear is revolutionary in its simplicity. Instead of running from it, she leans in like a curious child peeking into the oven to see if the cookies are done. She asks herself, what's the worst that could happen? And you know what? The worst case scenario is rarely as bad as our fear addled brains make it out to be. More often than not, the potential for growth and success far outweighs the risks. It's like worrying that your cake will fall flat, only to discover you've accidentally invented a delicious new dessert. This mindset shift is crucial, not just for women in business, but for anyone who's ever felt held back by their own doubts. It's about recognizing that your fears don't define you, your response to them does. It's about understanding that every successful person you admire has felt that same fear, faced that same self doubt. The difference is they didn't let it stop them. They used it as the secret ingredient in their recipe for success. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's easy for her to say. She's already successful. But that's the beauty of Rochelle's story. She wasn't born a successful CEO. She built her success from the ground up, one brave decision at a time. And each of those decisions was made in the face of fear, in defiance of that inner voice telling her she couldn't do it. It's like learning to bake. You don't start out making perfect croissants. You begin with something simple, maybe burning a few batches along the way, but each attempt teaches you something new. Let me share a story that Rochelle told me, one that I think perfectly encapsulates her approach to fear and growth. Early in her baking career, she was offered the chance to cater a high-profile event. It was a huge opportunity, but also a massive challenge. More orders than she'd ever handled, for clients more demanding than she'd ever served. That little voice of doubt was in full force, telling her she was in over her head like a souffle that's about to collapse. But instead of backing down, Rochelle took a deep breath and said yes. She spent weeks preparing, working longer hours than she ever had before. There were moments of panic, times when she was sure she'd made a huge mistake, but she pushed through, reminding herself that this fear was just a sign that she was growing, stretching beyond her comfort zone like dough rising to new heights. The event was a smashing success. Not only did Rochelle meet the challenge, but she exceeded everyone's expectations, including her own. That one decision, that one moment of choosing growth over fear became a turning point in her business. It led to more high-profile clients, greater recognition, and a newfound confidence in her abilities. It was like she discovered the perfect recipe for success, and suddenly everything was rising beautifully. This story illustrates a crucial point that Rochelle emphasizes. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It happens in those moments of discomfort, those times when you're not quite sure if you can pull it off. That's where the magic happens. That's where you discover strengths you never knew you had. Like finding out you have a natural talent for creating intricate sugar sculptures or negotiating $1 million deals. But Rochelle's message goes beyond just personal growth. She's adamant about the need for women to support and uplift each other in the business world. In her view, we're not competitors, we're collaborators. Each woman who succeeds in business paves the way for others to follow, creating a ripple effect that can change entire industries. It's like a giant, delicious potluck where everyone brings their best dish, and together we create a feast that's greater than the sum of its parts. This collaborative approach is something Rochelle practices in her own business. She's created a workplace culture that nurtures talent, that encourages her employees, particularly the women, to dream big and take risks. She understands that her success isn't just about her, it's about creating opportunities for other women to rise alongside her like a perfectly proofed dough that lifts everything around it. And let's talk about passion for a moment. Rochelle's eyes light up when she talks about her business, about the joy of creating something beautiful and delicious that brings happiness to others. This passion, she insists, is the secret ingredient to her success. It's what gets her through the tough days, what fuels her creativity, what makes all the hard work worthwhile. It's like the yeast in bread, invisible to the eye, but absolutely essential for growth and flavor. But passion alone isn't enough. Rochelle is quick to point out that passion needs to be paired with perseverance. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the unglamorous work, the behind the scenes tasks that no one sees but that are crucial to success. It's about believing in your vision even when no one else does. It's like kneading dough. It might not be glamorous, but it's essential for creating something truly spectacular. This combination of passion and perseverance is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's what turns a small bakery into a household name. It's what allows a woman to look at a male dominated business world and say, I belong here and I'm going to succeed. It's the difference between a half baked idea and a fully realized dream. Now, I want to address something that Rochelle feels strongly about, the idea that women are somehow inferior in the business world. She rejects this notion outright and with good reason. Women, she argues, possess unique strengths that make us incredibly well suited for leadership roles. It's like we've been given a set of ingredients that others might overlook, but in the right hands can create something truly extraordinary. Think about the skills that are increasingly valued in modern business: emotional intelligence, collaborative problem solving, adaptability. These are areas where women often excel. We're not just equal to the task of running successful businesses. In many ways, we're ideally equipped for it. It's like we've been training for a culinary competition our whole lives, only to find out that our home cooking skills are exactly what the judges are looking for. But here's the catch, and this is where Rochelle's message becomes a call to action. We need to believe it ourselves. We need to stop internalizing the doubts and limitations that society has tried to impose on us. We need to recognize our own strength, our own potential, our own worth. It's like having a pantry full of gourmet ingredients, but being too afraid to use them. It's time to open those cupboards and start cooking up something amazing. This isn't about denying the challenges that women face in the business world. Those challenges are real and they're significant, but it's about refusing to be defined by them. It's about looking at those obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities to demonstrate our resilience, our creativity, our determination. It's like being given a mystery basket of ingredients on a cooking show. Sure, it's challenging, but it's also an opportunity to showcase your skills and create something unexpected and delightful. Rochelle's journey is proof that this approach works. She's faced her share of setbacks and skeptics. She's had moments of doubt and fear, but she's never let those things define her or limit her ambitions. Instead, she's used them as motivation, as fuel for her success. It's like she's taken every criticism, every setback, and used them as ingredients in a recipe for triumph. And here's something crucial that Rochelle wants every woman to understand. Your journey doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Success isn't a one size fits all proposition. Your path might involve starting a bakery, or it might involve climbing the corporate ladder, or launching a tech startup, or any of 1,000 other possibilities. What matters is that you're true to yourself, that you're pursuing your passion with everything you've got. It's about defining success on your own terms and then going after it with unwavering determination. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge, one that I think Rochelle would wholeheartedly endorse. Take a moment right now to think about that thing you've been afraid to pursue, that business idea you've been sitting on, that promotion you've been hesitant to go for, that big change you've been putting off. Now, imagine what would happen if you approach that fear the way Rochelle does, not as a warning to stop, but as a signpost pointing toward growth. Imagine if you took that leap, pushed past the doubt, silenced that inner saboteur. What could you achieve? What kind of impact could you make? How might your success inspire and empower other women to do the same? It's like standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to take a leap into the unknown. Sure, it's scary, but what if instead of falling, you find out you can fly? Remember, every successful woman you admire started exactly where you are right now. They all face fears. They all heard that voice of doubt. The difference is they chose to act anyway. They chose growth over comfort, possibility over certainty. They decided to write their own recipes for success, even when others told them it couldn't be done. Rochelle Newton's story is a powerful reminder that we are capable of so much more than we often give ourselves credit for. It's a call to recognize our own strength, to embrace our potential, to support each other as we reach for our dreams. It's an invitation to see the world of business, not as a cutthroat competition, but as a collaborative feast where there's room for everyone at the table. So let's take a page from Rochelle's book. Let's see our fears not as limitations, but as invitations to grow. Let's recognize that as women, we bring unique and valuable perspectives to the business world. Let's support and uplift each other, creating a rising tide that lifts all boats. Let's turn up the heat on our ambitions and watch as our dreams rise like perfectly baked bread. And most importantly, let's commit to action. Let's make today the day we stop waiting and start doing, the day we silence that inner critic and amplify our inner champion, the day we take that first brave step toward the success we deserve. Let's preheat the ovens of opportunity and start mixing up the ingredients of our dreams. Because here's the truth, the world needs what you have to offer. Your ideas, your passion, your unique perspective. These are gifts. And as Rochelle Newton's journey so powerfully demonstrates, when we have the courage to share those gifts, we don't just change our own lives, we change the world. We create a recipe for success that nourishes not just ourselves, but generations to come. So I'll leave you with this question. What will you do today to step into your power, to silence your fears, and to start building the success you've always dreamed of? The answer to that question could be the beginning of your own incredible journey. It could be the first ingredient in your own recipe for success. Remember, in the kitchen of life, you are the master chef. You have all the ingredients you need to create something extraordinary. So put on your apron, fire up your determination, and start cooking up the life and business you've always dreamed of. The world is waiting to taste what you have to offer. Thank you for joining me on the Black CEO Podcast. Now go out there and show the world what you're made of. It's time to rise.